I would like to share with you my ideas about change. I'm working as a coach, as a business consulting in organizations mainly, and it comes often about, it's very often we talk about change, be it with individuals, be it about individual behavior to change, or with teams. How can we work better together in the team? How we can change our way of collaboration? Or be it in organizations about cultural change, for example. And of course, what we're always talking about is what are the goals we are setting and what are the action plans. And that makes sense because we need to know where we want to go and what we can do about it. And my experience is that is not enough, because often we're getting stuck. And I would like to, because my experience is that change is an adventure. You cannot really control it. You start a journey and it's good weather, and halfway down the road, a storm comes up. We are in this interconnected world. We are so much influenced by different factors that we cannot influence, that it's sometimes really overwhelming and scary when we think, oh, this is something how we're going to do, and then it doesn't work because something has changed on the way, like with the weather, with the storm. You cannot control it because we are so much interconnected in this globalized world that you cannot control it. And often, this is something that we experience. So we need to have something which goes beyond the goal setting and the action plans. Another assumption is that change is happening all the time. And as Mark McCurber says, so when change is happening all the time, we have to find the useful change and amplify this. This is the simple way of managing change. And when I mean this, we have good days and we have bad days. We have days when we're really at our best and things when we think, I really got up with the wrong foot. And this is the same also with the projects. Some projects are going brilliant. We're doing really size, as we say, and sometimes it's a total disaster. And we can learn so much out of these good opportunities, out of these good examples, because what we often do, we take lessons learned out of the failures. Yes, and that makes sense. And we also can learn so much out of the good examples, out of the positive examples. How did we do this actually? And how did we interact? And how did we get this project? And who did what? And what can we do to learn of it, to do something similar next time? So when change is happening all the time, we need to use and looking these positive changes which are happening and make use out of it. So when I'm saying beyond goal setting and action plans, I mean then we should take more in consideration that we are human, and we are human beings, and we are working with human beings. And as human beings, we have a mind and we have a heart. And that's what, from my understanding, really solution focus takes more in consideration. And this is the first thing is we use more the power of our mind and build a preferred future. And I would like to make a little experiment with you. I would like you to get up. Just stand up. Yes. Very nice. So, what you're doing, you stretch out your hand in the front, and then you turn around clockwise. You turn around, you turn around, you turn around as far as you can, and you remember the point that you're pointing now to. Just remember that point as far as you can. Yes, very good. Now you turn around again to the front. Yeah, turn around to the front. You close your eyes. Close your eyes. Now you imagine that you turn around clockwise. You turn around, you turn around, you turn around, and you turn 360 degrees. You keep on turning. Imagine you keep on turning. Yes. Imagine. You have your eyes closed and you keep on turning. Imagine. Yes, keep on turning. Now you open your eyes again. Open your eyes again. Look in the front. And now you open with open eyes, you turn around again. And you turn as far as you can. You turn, 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 turn. Who came farther the second time? Yeah. Who can further the second time? Yes. Thank you. Just sit down. Yes. Yeah. Any back problems now? I see some people making strange movements. What is really, what we are thinking and what we are imagining has a strong impact on what we are doing. So when we are talking about how do we want to work as a good team, how do we want to interact, what benefits will this bring to us? What are the benefits it brings for us, for my team, for our colleagues, for the clients? The probability that we are acting accordingly is much higher than we are talking, why are we such a miserable team? Why do we have these conflicts? Who is the guilty one? Why don't I get this information from you when I need it? You know? So the probability about that we are acting according what we're talking and what we're imagining, and when we're talking about, we need to imagine, otherwise we cannot talk. You know? There's this nice saying, first start your brain before you start your mouth. So our brain is involved. And it sounds so simple, and actually it is. And still, I see so many teams talking about why are we not working in this way, and why do we have these conflicts? So this is the first part of solution focus, really build a preferred future. Talk about the preferred future. How do you want to interact? And that's much more than a goal. KPIs are not sexy, but a preferred future is, yes? How do you want things to be? What are the benefits it brings to you? Then the second thing is focus on what's working already and build resilience. Because especially when you're really going to a change process, it might sometimes, as it rains, and we want to get on the safe side in the driveway. We cannot stop the rain. I'm accompanying a company which goes through a major business change process in the so-called emerging markets. So there are countries involved in this from Brazil, South Africa, and the CE countries like Romania. And we have Skype talks. And in one of the Skype talks, the topic came up with the managers, so we're a group of 12 people, and the topic came up that really this uncertainty at the moment is so high, they cannot deal with this. They don't know which are the clients going to be in the future. They don't have no clue exactly how this transfer is going to happen. Some people are going to leave the company. They need new qualifications. It's very difficult to deal with them. They said, we don't know how to deal with this uncertainty. And when somebody tells me in this coaching session comes, I don't know how to deal with that, my assumption is they have at least already some ideas. So what I asked them in this Skype call that we had, so how do you deal with this uncertainty? And what is your team and your colleagues? What do they appreciate? How you are interacting with them in these uncertain times? And we talked about 90 minutes about how they are really having their information. They share whatever is possible, how they are honest, even if it's not possible to share everything, how they're also taking good care of their teams, how they're taking good care of themselves to keep the motivation high. And there was so much what they did in a good way to deal with this uncertainty. We know so much, and often we don't know what we know. So asking questions about, so how do we dealing with this? What is working already? And make people aware of it, what they're doing. It helps to build resilience, and that keeps us going. Another very important part of solution-focused change management is recognize progress, because that builds confidence. I was involved in a very nice project a couple of years ago. It's called SBURT. SBURT means something like flying, I think. Is that right? Yes. It was in a school, in 5 schools were involved, normal state schools here in Romania. And they introduced coaching to help to, and there were coaches involved to help to create a better learning environment for the students. And we had an intermediate session with 5 schools. There were about 50 people involved in this workshop. And there were the teachers, directors, students, some parents were there. And we wanted to see how did they make progress. And one of the directors came to me before we started and she said, I'm really not sure why I'm here. This is not working at all. Because the students are fighting on the playground. I still see students skipping the classes, you know. It doesn't really make sense. I think I'm leaving even. Well, she did not leave. And what we did in this workshop was that they were standing in the room, it was a large group, in the groups, how they were at the schools, and I asked them on a scale from 1 to 10, when 10 is your best hopes you had when you were applying for this project, what you wanted to achieve with your school, and 1 was the starting point when you applied for it. Where are you standing now on that scale? And they were moving in the room, you know, 10 was there, 1 was there, and they were all standing somewhere between 3 and 5. And I asked them, so what is different now? What is different now after these first 6 months that you are in this project? And they were sharing, the students were sharing with the professors what has changed from their perspective, and what the teachers were seeing, and what the parents were seeing, and there were so many things. For example, in some of the schools, they had started mentoring programs between the older students and the younger ones. And the students said they felt more accepted and more by the teachers, so that it was much more easier to approach them. They felt that teachers were listening more to them. Or something parents also, they started and they painted some of the rooms to rearrange them to make them look nicer. So there were so many things that they were happening. And yes, there were still fights on the schoolyards. And yes, there were still students skipping the school. And at the end of the project, when they made an evaluation, some of the schools had doubled the rate of the students that finished the school with an exam. So there was a huge impact that some of the schools did. Yes. And this intermediate meeting, recognizing that there is progress. It's not perfect, but we're moving in the right direction, and seeing this and talking about it, sharing this built the confidence that they kept on doing. And even the director, who was so frustrated at the beginning, she left with a smile. So, and then what is also for me showing appreciation and part of solution-focused also dealing with change. And showing appreciation can be done in so many ways, because it's not only saying, hey, you did a good job. It's about showing interest. How did you manage to do that? It was a very difficult phase, or you kept this client who was on the edge to jump off. How did you do this? Or say, thank you. You know, you had a great idea and it turned out to be so important for this project. We really made it. Or also to celebrate. And celebrate doesn't mean to have a big party always. It can be a high five, you know, on the hallway, say, hey, great. I really like that, we did a good job. Or to have half an hour at the end of Friday afternoon to just sit together and just share what did we manage this week, what did we move forward, what is something that we are really pleased with, and make people aware of that. So there's so many ways, and it builds up trust. Maybe you recognize this already after this short gossiping, how you connected more with your colleagues you didn't know at all. And trust is something that's so important also, especially when we're dealing with all this uncertainty. So, I don't remember who said it, but I read it somewhere and I really like it. So, to deal with change has a lot to do with water the flowers and not the weed.
Fletcher Peacock from
Thank
Canada.
You. Yes. Thank you. I really like this. So, looking where are the flowers and take care of them. Where is the part that I want to see and what is already happening and take care of it. And not that what is kind of the weed in between. So then you have a nice garden. So solution-focused change, dealing with change, is building more preferred future and go beyond the goal setting. Use the power of our mind. Focus on what is working and build resilience. Recognize progress and build confidence, because that's dealing with our emotions. And maybe you have heard, I think Henry Ford said it, when you believe you cannot do it, you're right. And when you believe you can do it, you're also right. So it's really so important to build up the confidence. And of course, show appreciation and building trust supports to that. So enjoy the conference. And these are my ideas about change.